Is the Atlantic finally waking up? We are currently tracking two separate areas for potential tropical development. I'm meteorologist Andrew Markowitz here with the full breakdown of what to expect with these storms and whether or not we need to be concerned. While the Pacific Basin continues to be extremely active, the Atlantic Basin so far has been a snoozer. With only 3 very weak and short-lived storms, ACE to date is currently the 8th lowest on record dating back to 1950. 2022 is the only year with lower ACE to date in the 21st century. However, we now have Invest 95L, which is a disorganized cluster of storms currently spinning in the western Atlantic. The most recent frames do indicate a more congealed structure, and that could eventually develop tropical characteristics. The NHC has now upgraded this to code orange, indicating a 40% chance of developing into a tropical system in the next 48 hours. If so, it would be given the name Dolly, our 4th named storm of the 2026 season. Most models have this peaking at low-end tropical storm intensity, likely on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then dissipating by the end of the week. Model guidance initially takes this on a northward trajectory, with the center remaining far east of Bermuda. After that, it will take a turn to the northeast. Some ensemble members have the center tracking very close to the eastern edge of the Canadian Maritimes, and that'll have to be watched closely, but at that point, it'll be a pretty weak system. At the same time, we're also watching a new tropical wave that has emerged off the west coast of Africa. Sea surface temperatures in the main development region have warmed considerably in recent weeks and are now solidly above average for this time of year. If wind shear becomes less hostile, that can support tropical development in this part of the basin. The NHC also has code orange, indicating a 50% chance of tropical development over the next 7 days. If so, the subsequent name in the sequence is Edouard, which would be storm number 5 on the season. The majority of European ensemble members do show some degree of tropical activity over the next week with a due west track. The track of the storm will be determined by this area of high pressure in the Atlantic. If the high weakens, that would force a storm to recurve out to sea and therefore would not be a threat to land. But if the high is stronger, that would favor more westward motion and therefore increases the odds of potential impacts to land. I should note that we're talking pretty far into the future, so confidence at this point is quite low. The bottom line is, at this point, there's no reason for anyone to be overly concerned. Storm 1 is going to remain really weak, and the absolute most impacts we could see would maybe be a little bit of rain and wind in Newfoundland and Labrador, otherwise no concerns. The second storm I think could become more interesting, but right now this is all speculation until it gets a defined center of circulation. If that happens, given its location, I think that has a pretty good chance of becoming our strongest storm this season so far, and dare I say there's even potential of it becoming a hurricane. But as far as the exact track and potential impacts to the US, Caribbean, or other land masses, we have absolutely no clue at this point. At this time, it's purely wait and see. There's no reason to be overly concerned until I find a reason to be concerned. Please stay safe, and for continuous coverage on the tropics and other severe weather all around the world, please make sure to follow me on all social media platforms so you can stay weather aware.